Hey guys, welcome to Finally Clicked, the podcast where we discuss business, leadership, and personal development. My name is Margaret Smith, and I'm the Director of Operations for Pickett Street Properties, a real estate team out of Bothell, Washington. And I'll be here every week with our owner and team leader, Jesse D. Moore. We'll be digging into concepts and ideas that have helped us both personally and professionally. And you'll also get a chance to hear from local and national experts that we know provide massive value to get to the point where it all finally clicks. Perfect. Whiskey on an empty stomach is exactly how I like to start out my Wednesday.
I didn't pour myself enough. Today we're drinking Jameson Black Barrel Triple Distilled Irish Whiskey.
Is this a new bottle?
This was a gift from Jessica and Jared.
Oh, God, that's sharp. That's straight to the belly.
Top of the morning to you.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you gotta let that ice melt a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm gonna apologize to everyone. I have to move my microphone.
Do it.
Great. All right. Welcome to another ASMR and whiskey episode.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome, Margaret. Why don't you tell everybody who I am?
Oh, well,
You just
speaking
say, welcome, Jesse.
opposite of the table to me is Jesse D. Moore. And I am Margaret M. Smith. I am laughing because in my head, I'm remembering this admin who said, I'm really enjoying your podcast, except for those times when you're like, all I hear is a bunch of noises and you're whispering. And I'm like, that's the point. That's ASMR.
I was reflecting on how I said that I would like a facilities director at a high school.
Yes.
Last episode.
That was good. I like that jacket.
Okay, in true ASMR fashion, can we stop doing this?
Yes, we can. All done. Regular voices, inside voices.
Oh, goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Now adjust your volume to the appropriate setting
Yes. Andy Dunn, we're looking at you.
as we
That is
resume
hardcore, Jessica Townsend. This whiskey is
our
like
normal
hitting me.
transmission.
Mm-hmm.
It is,
Get a picture
I
of
wouldn't say it's hardcore.
It's not?
I'd say it's appropriately core.
Appropriate core, okay.
Every episode is also a photo shoot.
It's all an
I
opportunity.
have to be careful because as soon as we start the episode, Margaret's like, click, click, click. And I have to be like, I'm dodging, I'm bobbing, and I'm weaving.
You are. You do a good job of that. That was so nice of Jessica and Jared to get you a bottle.
I almost bought us a bottle for, I don't
As a
know.
sponsor?
You know what's funny about this episode is that I had all these ideas to talk about, but they're all Christmas ideas.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, this is our Thanksgiving episode,
Oh, specifically Thanksgiving.
right? Like, you can't just leapfrog a holiday like Thanksgiving.
What about Christmas did you want to talk about?
You know what's great when you're a podcaster is when you eat during the podcast. Like, listeners love that more than anything.
Well, I'm trying
This
to
isn't
ensure.
a mukbang video. Do you know what a mukbang?
No.
You don't know?
What the heck is that?
All right, so, and I might be pronouncing it incorrectly, but it's in the vein of ASMR videos, which I put in the vein of why the hell do people watch these videos, right? So I'm not into ASMR.
Per se.
No, I'm not.
Except for here on
And
the
then
podcast.
Anyway, they have these mukbang videos, which is basically someone eating on microphone on TV.
I've seen this
but
before.
to excess. Like, they'll eat like 2 pizzas from Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Or they'll eat like the biggest lobster you've ever seen in like.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's so gross.
I don't like that at all.
I don't like watching people eat in general.
I think I found that after you first introduced me to ASMR. I looked it up and I started finding people eating all sorts of things.
It's something else, man.
Yeah.
And I've heard people try to explain like what the
point
what the demand is. And some say it's like people that restrict themselves from eating bad food and they want to see someone else enjoying it, or they want to hear the sounds. I don't know. It's weird, man.
It's really strange. But, to each their own. So if that...
Really? To each their own?
Hey, I mean, there's some things that we do that I'm sure people are like, that is weird.
Yeah. Well, mukbang videos are super weird.
Yeah, that's an interesting name. Mukbang?
Well, it's, I think it's Japanese. I think it came from an Eastern country. It's not our words, Margaret. I'm curious, Margaret, this week.
Why not for that other glass?
What percentage human are you today?
100%. Actually, probably 102% today. This week.
100. You're extra?
I'm extra.
You are extra. You're extra most of the time.
I'm extra human. Yeah.
I
was thinking about, I want a t-shirt that says that so bad.
100% human? Mm-hmm. Well, you can't wear it on days like today where you're 102% human.
True.
I don't think you can be extra human. I think it would mean that you have like an add-on, right?
Oh,
like
an extra person or ability?
Spiritual backpack,
I kind of do.
Like I'm wearing a 2% override today.
I've got like a 2%er on me. Some extra people hanging out.
Huh. It would have been awesome to like talk about your Northwest Admin Retreat and that tickets were for sale and available.
I know,
and tell people why they should come, but there's no point.
There's no point.
Because you sold out in 48 hours.
Mm-hmm. Shut the front door and the back door and the side door.
Is everything erased? Close all the doors.
Everything is erased to me right now. No, it's phenomenal.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Okay. Oh, please do.
5 more people are going to come. I don't know why. You're going to be like, I really like this person. And I just feel badly that they can't come.
Well, it is hard to decline people, but at the same time...
Logistically, you really can't add people.
No, especially since I don't have a location, technically.
Right, I know. What are they, sleeping in their van again?
You know what? We're going to make this happen, and if it has to happen at my house, we will make it happen.
Hey, listen, if you want to go to that Pacific Northwest Admin Retreat and you own a van again, there's a good chance you can go.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the post I just wrote up, I did some research last night just to see if I could figure out, because I didn't start tracking how fast tickets sold until last year. And last year it took about a month and a half, from December 1st to February 15th. And then the years before, longer. And so for it to sell out in 48 hours blew my mind.
Mopra. You are becoming Mopra. 48 hours.
48 hours. 48 hours. The people have spoken. It is desired.
And the best part of this, we don't know where it's at. We don't know who's speaking at it. Like, people are just...
True that. I forgot about that. Yeah, the location's not set. There's no speakers announced. They're going off of faith, which is like Tesla so flattering.
Announcing a pickup, but not
and all of a sudden...
But no demonstration.
Yeah. What is it? Like 600,000 people have already put, an order in?
250,000 people.
Okay. And I understand the order is only $100, but still, that says a lot that somebody...
No, they have $2.5 billion in pre-orders without any advertising.
That's crazy.
Without any advertising. Like, literally, they just did a...
You watched the presentation of that, and so I didn't watch it, but I heard about the glass breaking.
Well, here's the thing.
I wanted to know what you thought about that and Elon Musk's
Here's what's interesting, is I have been paying attention to the pickup that Tesla was going to release. And I knew the date of the announcement, and then I knew the time. And so I literally put a reminder in my phone that... Tesla truck announcement. And I was at a social engagement. I was at a wine tasting at a friend's house. And that's a whole other story. But I was there, is friends of Jill's, mostly. And it's it's like a group where I don't maybe know everyone so well, or maybe, I don't know how to explain it, other than they're Jill's friends, and there's some latency between how they interact with Jill and how they interact with me. Anyway, my point is that the guy's there I don't know super well, and he's a gearhead. Like, he buys cars and fixes them in his free time, like for fun, and that's not me at all, right? But I do enjoy vehicles. I do enjoy autos. I know things about cars, just not to the degree that this guy does. And I mentioned that it was coming on, and so he ran to his computer and turned it on. So we all the guys huddled in his office and watched this announcement, and we all couldn't really believe it when they rolled it out, because it's very futuristic looking. It's
extremely.
It looks like
I was
it's
shocked.
Out of Tron or Blade Runner.
And I can't, like, as much as I was into the whole like presentation of it, I still couldn't believe that you put up money, like all these people put money down on it, because I felt like it was not your style at all. But the coolness factor, like the fact that it's Tesla and it's Elon and it's...
Well, there's something about Elon that I respect greatly.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing Steve Jobs had, which is
I'm already feeling this whiskey, by the way.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you don't eat beforehand, and then you start your morning off with some whiskey.
Yeah.
Are you getting a headache?
Well, there was a pain there. There was. I don't know what the pain I might be feeling empathic pains for Jessica.
You want some of my water?
No, it's okay. I'm good.
Okay, it's right here if you need it.
Okay.
Anyway, Steve Jobs and Elon. Like, I think Steve Jobs is a genius because he created a product that no one knew they wanted.
Yes.
iPhone.
Yes.
No one said, hey, we need this device. Yeah. He went about it and said, and he looked at different demands in our life.
Yeah.
And then he concocted this product.
Yeah.
And it's changed everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Elon's trying to do essentially the same thing. And it's funny because all the critics don't understand that. So they go, oh, this doesn't look like other pickups, you loser. And anyway, so the form function, and I'll get into I can nerd out on this for a while.
Nerd out.
So Cody, one of my friends, we were working out this morning. Got up at 5:15, which is now it took me a little while to get over the hump, but I feel like I'm over the hump.
Oh, that's
my
cool.
phone. It's funny.
It is hard. I agree.
My iPhone last night at like 6:30 suggested a reminder. Do you want us to set an alarm for you for 5:15 tomorrow morning?
Shut up, really?
Yeah. So I said yes. And that's AI in our life, right?
Yeah.
It's predicting that I'm going to the gym on a Wednesday. So do you want to get up at 5:15?
Wow.
So we're at the gym and we're talking about the Tesla truck, and he's like, it probably won't look like that when they release it. And I go, no, that's not true. I think it will, for this reason. He built it with an exoskeleton, not like a typical frame and body design that most people use. And so the body is the frame, right?
Okay.
And the way it's made, it's this rolled stainless steel process. Anyway, the way it's made, you can't really bend it or contour it. It has to be kind of straight lines and edges like that. That's why it looks the way it looks.
Okay.
So
is it literally like you couldn't crush it if you tried?
No, I mean, they took a sledgehammer. So they open up. First off, if you don't watch Silicon Valley on HBO, please do. It is a hilarious show. The creator, Mike Judge, is the creator of Beavis and Butthead, creator of King of the Hill, other shows I'm not thinking of. And it's so funny. And it's about Silicon Valley. It's about young kids that are introverts and are socially awkward being, CEOs of companies and having to present to large audiences and how awkward that could be. And this Tesla truck rollout was a Silicon Valley episode in the making. Elon was so awkward. He came out on stage, and it's so funny because he's dressed like the Fonz. He's like black jeans and black leather jacket. And he was like, yeah, so, okay, we designed a truck. And in 100 years, trucks look the same. And then they, he doesn't say cue the tape, but they roll the tape. And it's just a picture of trucks from like the Model T, you know, like from back to Henry Ford to now.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a weird presentation. We know what trucks look like. You don't have to show us what trucks look like.
Yeah.
And we can see this. And the truck hasn't rolled out yet, right?
Yeah.
So he's like talking about it.
It's just the lead up. Yeah.
And then he's like, roll out the truck, right? And there's fog machines and there's lasers and it's pretty unique looking. You know, it's very angular and triangular. Anyway, he rolls it out, and then 6 people get out of it, which is, say, it tells you something. It can hold 6 people, right?
That's crazy.
It's a big pickup. And then this one guy, I think he called him Sven or something, took a sledgehammer they brought out like a normal panel door, and he hit it, and it bent, right? And then he hits the side of this body of this, and nothing happens. So it's like this. Stainless steel is like an armor. It's bulletproof for a 9mm bullet. It's
wow.
like it's great. It's overbuilt for sure. And to fast forward, so then they have this armor glass, and they have all these tests where they show a ball bearing being dropped on it on a flat surface, and it doesn't break, it doesn't dent, it doesn't chip. And what they did that you should never do in a presentation is they went off script. And he was like, throw the ball at the pickup. You know, throw this ball bearing at the window. And he does, and it spider webs, like, it shatters. Not, like, completely. It just, like, spider web. And that wasn't supposed to happen. And so he goes, should I do the next window? And he goes, yeah. And so it does it again. Oh, okay. And so the rest of the presentation, he's, like, presenting in front of a broken model, right? Mm-hmm. But it is a cool vehicle. The torque of an electric vehicle is pretty unbelievable. So its ability to tow and its ability to get to accelerate is kind of unparalleled.
I was wondering what you thought about it, just because I'm going to have to watch it now, because I've heard people say that, I mean, as the creator of something like that, you don't want something like that to happen, obviously, when the window breaks. And it was kind of like, when I heard about it, that's kind of amazing. Like, how did he react? How did he respond during that? Because I heard that during the day, they threw multiple bats against the window and balls, and nothing happened. So, like, the window had been thrown out several times before.
Well, what they said is that afterward, they said that the physics of it was that by hitting the door with a sledgehammer, it compromised the integrity of the window in some way, and that's why it shattered. So I don't know. Who cares?
Who doesn't even care?
Who needs a window that doesn't shatter?
I mean, how often is a sledgehammer going to come across your window?
Well, and what people don't understand and may not understand is that Elon has a vision for Mars. He wants to go to Mars. SpaceX, his company, is designed to get people to Mars. He's essentially designing a rover that will last on Mars. And this Cybertruck is that. Yeah. And he's just going to experiment on Earth. Yeah. Humans, right? Yeah. And to perfect this rover vehicle, and then he'll send it to Mars.
Talk about the long game.
What I'll tell you is why I put a deposit down on it, because I was disappointed a little bit in the shape and the look of it. There were some renderings of what it might look like that were pretty cool. But the reason why I put a deposit down is while I may not be in love with the design, I am open to being wrong. And Elon, I believe in Elon and his vision, and I've wanted a Tesla vehicle for some time. I drive a pickup. I don't want to drive a car. And so I've been waiting for this, and I figure it's $100 deposit. I'll work my little butt off and have the cash to pay for it when it rolls out in 2021. And we'll see, you know, but it's $100 to reserve my spot and make sure I get it maybe a year or two before other people. Yeah. We'll see. And
it was interesting to watch.
I think as a driving experience, it's going to be amazing. Like the way that the suspension is fed by an air compressor, so you can change. It'll actually modulate the.
It's amazing.
It is.
I have to say, I rode in a Tesla I don't think it was my first time. It might have been my second time this weekend. And I was completely impressed with the 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds.
Right.
I was blown away, actually. And
how did I not hear this story?
I mean, this is the first time I've really sat down with you since Monday, I think. That's probably why. But when I go from my Honda Fit, which I love and has been an amazing car for me for 10 years now, into that car, I'm like, holy shit.
Right.
I don't blame you for putting the $100 down.
Well, Joe Rogan, everyone knows who Joe Rogan is if you listen to this episode, this series. Joe Rogan is a gearhead. He has a bunch of cars, and he had Elon Musk on, and he promised Elon he would buy a Tesla, and he did, and he's blown away by the car. He said, like, this is the future. It makes this feel like a toy.
It does. It literally does. It's so smooth.
Yeah.
And the inside, it was a white interior, which I normally wouldn't go with white, but it looked good. And it makes it feel like you're in a little spaceship.
I'll never do white. I have kids.
I know, but it wipes clean. I mean, the salesperson told me all these things. I was like, I'd get the white with the red exterior.
Of course you would.
I've already decided. Yeah. God, this whiskey is strong.
You're drinking it like it's going out of style.
This is how I drink. Yeah.
So, yeah, Cybertruck.
Interesting. To see you roll up in a parking lot with that'll be cool.
I'm a little worried about the size of it, to be honest.
Well, I
In
mean,
Seattle.
the way that it's shaped in Seattle, yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to drive around outside of Snohomish County.
They need a shrinking feature for parking.
That'd be great. If you could get on that, Elon, that'd be amazing.
What's super cool, too, is he designed an ATV, an electric ATV, that fits in the back and is only available if you buy the truck. Like, you can't buy the ATV separately. It's an accessory to the truck.
Oh, that's cool.
But
Smart.
electric ATV, right?
That's cool.
That is powered. You can plug it in while it's in the pickup. So you can power the ATV while you're driving around.
Oh, God. You're a smart guy. How much does it go then for?
I want to tour it on top for the zombie apocalypse with the 50 cal.
It's good to be prepared. So what's the total cost then?
It's pretty affordable. The one I secured is the middle one, so that's $50,000, let's say. And then there's an add-on feature. It's like $6,000, $7,000 more to make it like fully autonomous, self-driving.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I added that.
I mean, that's like the epitome of cars. Yeah, self-driving. Yeah.
All right. ASMR transition. Do I need to pour you more?
Probably not.
Are you gonna get emotional?
Oh, for sure.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are you gonna cry?
I don't think I'm gonna cry now.
Oh, okay.
But the ladies at lunch yesterday, the ladies from the team, were like encouraging Margaret to come out because apparently after seeing her at Ellie's house the other day, they were intrigued.
This is it. This is what we're gonna get into.
This is happening.
And transitioning out. Can you talk about why you didn't join the team for lunch the other day?
Oh, sure. On Monday. Yeah, so Monday came around this week. It's the week of Thanksgiving. It's always a quiet week. There's nobody in the parking lot except for us and like the other teams in the office. And the girls wanted to go out for lunch. It was Jessica, Jaggles, and Amanda to celebrate Jessica's house. And just, people love going out for lunch here. And I had to say no. And I had to say, you guys, I am so sorry. I love you so much. But if I go out for lunch with you, I won't go to yoga and I won't get home until like 7. And I can't do that to myself. I have realized that one of the best lessons I've learned over the years is that in order to maintain myself and stay with Pickett Street and stay with you guys, I have to keep my self-care routine. And one of those is yoga. And it's not like, I love working out in the morning, but I can't do the 6 a.m. classes. It's too much of a rush in the morning. So I like working out in the evening, but I can't think about it too much during the day or I will easily talk myself out of it. So I had to say no. And so then I brought it up at the team meeting because I want people to know that it's not because I don't like you. And I know they know that. And though, when you're in the moment and it's happening, people get disappointed, right? When you say no and you don't join in. But I had to bring it up because the bigger our team gets, when we get beyond the 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 people that we have, the more work I have. And if I'm not disciplined, I'll start doing work at home in the evenings and I'll start to get resentful. And I do not want that to happen. So I have to really protect my time, which sometimes feels to me like for me to say no to people, I've gotten a lot better at it, but there are still times when my emotions get the better of me, that 102%, and I feel guilty or sad or bad for the person. Like I feel like I'm turning them down. So kind of like think how salespeople feel when they get 1,000 no's over the phone. I don't want people to feel that way. And there's nothing I can do. I can't control that. So yeah, I brought that up at the team meeting because I just wanted to kind of reset the standard and the expectation that I have to work during the day. I can't stop and visit as much as I have been.
Well, also, when we started the podcast, we had a very introverted team.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And it was killing me. And it was killing you, too.
What do you mean?
A little bit.
That we had an introverted
You can't
team.
have a sales
Well, we
force.
can't have an introverted sales force.
You can't have an introverted. We're not selling software.
No.
know?
We have to have people that want to talk to people.
And so I was like, what is going on? How did we hire so many of these? So then now we have an extroverted team for the most part. And you can tell by lunch.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to hang out together.
I freaking love it.
Used to be
I
like,
love it so much.
People would pair off in groups and go to lunch or whatever, but now it's like a big, no, let's go.
Are you coming? Are you coming? And I
Looks
love
like
that.
We pull up to a restaurant. It looks like a clown car. People keep coming
Yes,
out.
and I love that. It's one of my favorite things. And I have
And it can be a productivity killer.
Yeah. I mean, it's the nature of our job as an admin in the real estate business. For me, like we talked about this at the team meeting too, and I think Jaggles has figured this out about me a little bit. She's still kind of figuring it out. I require an immense amount of focus to do a good job because I'm thinking through all the consequences and all the things of everything I'm working on, especially if it's something new. And so, like I have to, like ideally, I'd have my headphones on and the door would be shut 8 hours a day.
Both?
Yeah.
You need your headphones on.
Because Jaggle's in the room.
Okay.
Yeah. And I want her to be able to listen to music and she can focus with things like that. But I can't.
Context here. Why the headphones?
Why the headphones?
Oh, the audience should know. I bought you a pair.
Oh, you bought me Bose headphones.
Noise canceling headphones.
5-6 years ago.
So
And somehow you knew or you respected the fact that I don't think I even asked for it. You gave me an office to myself.
You were struggling.
I struggled. Well, there was people that would stand at my door and talk to me.
No, when you went from your own office to having Sarah in there, you struggled with being able to focus because of that.
I don't think people realize I can be super chatty and outgoing for sure. But when I'm working on a project, I get high anxiety if I can't have silence. I don't need to listen to music. I need everything else to be silent because my head is like 1,000 voices.
So what do you listen to? Anything?
Nothing.
You just have them on.
If I'm super concentrated and working on something that requires, if I haven't done it before, that's really it. If I haven't done it before, I need silence.
Are you talking to yourself? Are you like, all right, Mo, let's do this?
No, I'm not even saying that.
No.
I'm thinking about, for example, the client event we have in December that we haven't done before. I'm thinking through the agenda. I'm thinking through the possibilities of what have happened, what will happen, what have we done so far, what do we need to do. And so I'm having this conversation with myself in my head. I can't have other people singing at me because I'll make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's the gist of it. And so I think it's hard for people to handle because for you, as an example, you thought if I wasn't listening to music, I wasn't happy. Or if I wasn't able to, glance up and talk to people, I wasn't happy. And that's not the case at all. It's just how I work.
Did I really think that?
Yeah, you did.
I don't think that way anymore.
No. In the beginning, you thought that was just a sign that I wasn't happy. And actually, it's just the fact that I think I'm kind of an oddball. Like, I know there's other admin that are like this, but not as many need as... like, if I was sitting in a bullpen with 5 other admin, I would pull my hair out.
Well, you're an extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
I'm an introverted extrovert.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't treat everybody the same.
No.
And
and you know what it looks like when I do a good job, and that's what I need. And so I fully embrace that now. And so like work every once in a while, I'll take a day to work from home, which is like I get so much done.
Yeah.
But a big part of my job is the people. And so that's why I try to never turn away like one of the team members when they come in, because typically they're very, especially this team that we have right now, they're very, Daniel won't even open the door.
No, I wanted to bring
this up. He is so respectful. Like,
so Daniel, who we had on last episode,
yeah,
who has a radio announcer.
Yeah, everybody's a fan of his voice. Everybody's loving his voice.
But he was so distraught when he said, "Wait, your door's gonna be closed for what's one thing time?"
I wanted to be careful about how I phrased it.
So there's a book written by Gary Keller and Jay Pappstein called The One Thing, and something they talk about in there is creating bunkers for your time. So literally making sure people know that this is your one thing time. You're dedicated on working on one thing right now, and not to distract you. And Margaret does that from like 9 to 11:30 most days. She's reinstituting it because you take it down, and then people abuse you.
Oh, even if I don't,
They
if I
just
don't,
come
I have to
in.
enforce it. Even if my sign's up, which just has a picture of a fire burning, and it says, unless the building is literally burning,
Yeah.
please don't come in between the hours of 9 and by the way, are you lead genning? Because you should be during
Well,
this time.
and that's great about your time is you set up that time when sales agents should be lead generating anyway.
Yeah.
They shouldn't need you.
No.
And then you have to draw a line in the sand and say, hey, I'm putting a sign on my door, so don't come in unless your world is on fire. And poor Daniel was like, I can't come in? Like, when do I get to come in?
No, it was very sweet. And and that's why I wanted to talk about it at the team meeting, because I want to make sure that people understand the intention. I don't, I think it's pretty clear that I'm a warm and inviting person, and I want to maintain that. And my self-care routine it's as part of the reason I'm still here. It's because I'm able to maintain my battery life. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was great that you said no to going to lunch with everybody.
Oh, thanks.
No, it is. It's one of those hard things. It's hard for me to do sometimes. But I give everybody a little break during this time because there's not as much to do. And
everybody gets their work done when it needs to get done.
And I like that we can focus on our interpersonal relationships on the team during this time and everything else. But, there's no comparison to productivity. Nothing makes me happier than productivity. And like, even today, like, we got good news on something, and I was like, jazzed me up, man. And getting the phone call and getting the yes and moving things forward. I'm really hard on myself, and for my mental health, I have to be productive in some form every day.
Well, it makes me think of that book that we read, the little one, Make Your Bed.
Yeah.
So it's called Make Your Bed, where even on days when nothing's going to happen, if I can accomplish my list of to-dos, or like at least 3 big items for the day, that for the business and for myself personally, then I feel like I've accomplished something. And I think that sense of accomplishment and the endorphins you get and the everything really helps mentally. Totally. That's why I think I'm such a, no matter how I'm feeling physically or mentally, I always force myself to at least accomplish a couple things so that I feel better about my day, even if it's been the worst day.
All right. What's some tips? What's some hacks for people?
Oh, well, a big part of it is ignoring your ego. And so there are many days when I have...
So you want everyone to take mushrooms?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Oh, my God. There are many days when I catch myself talking to myself, and I think that's the ego, where it says, like, oh, you don't need to go to yoga. You did it 2 days last week. Your body's looking good.
I'm the best.
Your body's looking good. You don't need... No, you should go out for drinks and then go home and just watch a movie, because that's what you do when you've had a good day. And so it's mind over your physical. So your body might be saying one thing, your mind might be saying one thing, and it's forcing yourself, having the self-discipline to do the thing that you want to do in order to accomplish your goals. And so that is literally what has gotten me through some of the hardest times example of that is this retreat, pushing to the point of where most people would stop. And then I think to myself, well, I know so-and-so would stop. They wouldn't go any further, so I'm going to. And it's crazy. I mean, most everybody gives up after just one try. They're on everything. Like, they're just not willing to put in the work. And so just knowing that fact has literally been what's gotten me through a lot of different things in life.
Yeah, I'm finally getting to the point where, I had someone question me about being tired, how I mentioned I've been tired a lot on the podcast. And it's because I'm changing my routine and I'm getting up early 3 days a week. And in the first part of that cycle, it's brutal because my body's not used to it. And now I used to lift really heavy. And it's funny, I did that 23andMe test, and
I want to do that.
One of the things it said is that you're probably a power lifter. And I was like, that's crazy that they can figure that out.
I could totally see that.
Like a genetic thing, because people have asked me before if I played football or, why I'm big. And it's just lifting, and it's just something my dad taught me when I was young. And it's just something I've conditioned myself.
And that's how your body's built. Like it's. I mean,
Well, yeah, genetically, my body is built to move heavy objects, and I didn't know how to do it for the longest time. I did it by myself, and so like my max on bench was like 305, which was more than anyone in my hometown did, like my dad or anyone, you know. So I felt pretty good about it.
Where would you lift at home?
Well, I'd go to a gym.
Okay, you have like one gym.
A couple different gyms.
Okay.
But then I met with a trainer, right? And then he showed me how to lift, and then I was lifting 430 pounds.
Damn.
Like, that's a huge jump from 305
I mean, not to mention that's just a massive amount of weight.
Well, and so then I was working out normally with like doing sets of 10 with 360, which is... Anyway, the fact that this genetic test could like identify that you're probably a power lifter, it was pretty hilarious. Tom Segura, comedian, has this bit about like, you know, your idea of your dad, you know, how you're like, my dad could probably beat up your dad. My dad's tall. My dad's strong, you know. Anyway, but my point is that now I'm getting back to that place where I am lifting heavy again. I'm starting to lift heavier again. And man, that's motivating for me.
Yeah.
And to where my back today has felt the best it's felt maybe in 2 years.
I almost feel like it shouldn't be spoken. Like we should, knock on wood.
But no, literally today I'm like moving around and twisting and doing all sorts of things. And I had a good workout today.
That's crazy.
And I want to commend you for you figured out how to hack your life in pretty great ways. Like with the hot yoga. You're not afraid to try new things. You tried different workout things. You kept coming back to hot yoga. Now you make that a priority. What you've done with affirmations and meditation and miracle morning is commendable. Like you figured out some routine hacks that have absolutely
They helped me a lot. Yeah.
Modified your life in a positive way.
Well, I think you said this last episode where you said you're done with being stubborn about how you think things should be or something like that. I forgot how you phrased it exactly. But there was a time when I had the same, and it was probably like 3-4 years ago. And then when you were in the midst of all your divorce and all that, and I was frustrated with myself. And I was like, I'm done saying no to things like the Miracle Morning because I'm afraid of getting up early and how's that going to stress me out, or how's like I'm done with that. I'm going to try everything. Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of it is when you hit that wall, you have to be angry enough and kind of upset enough that you want to live a better life. And so I didn't have anything traumatic happen to me in my life necessarily, but I had enough frustration with not feeling good that I was done. And I think that helps. And I always try to reach that place before I get to that point. Like I want to make changes before I get so frustrated. And so that's what I've been working on next. But thank you. I agree. Like I'm so much more at peace than I've been for a long time. And I'm happier because of all those routines. Yeah. So when I slip on something, like when I slip on yoga for 3 to 4 weeks, I totally notice. Yeah. Especially as I get older. God, I'm 38. Like, I got to keep this body in shape for years.
ASMR transition. I detect notes of caramel. Tobacco.
I think mine's more like water because I've gone through the...
Look at this. This is... Margaret is a lush, man.
I'm a total lush.
She didn't have breakfast, and we drank whiskey in the morning.
It's exactly why I tell people keep my drinks short because I just suck them down.
I should just ask you random questions.
I am open to answering anything right now. I'm pretty much an open book. I mean, what am I?
I'm the open book. All right, let's talk about authenticity for a second.
Oh, back to real voices, okay?
Yeah, well, that was transition.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Why is that weighing on your mind?
I just think it's my superpower.
Okay.
And we had an interaction with a listener and a friend recently, and it made me. I thought about it a lot yesterday, and I think there was a time in my life when I was afraid. I felt like I've talked about it before. It's like almost imposter syndrome, where
so many people deal with that imposter syndrome.
Well,
it's like
I think there's different yes, I have a lot of thoughts on this.
It's so interesting to me how many. I mean, I deal with it too. It's like, why?
Well, I think there's certain things that can happen, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts, read a lot of books, and it's something that a lot of people that become famous feel like. It's weird to be famous. And I'm not saying this about me. Okay, I'm saying for them, it's weird to be famous. It's weird to have people track your movements and care about what you do and everything else, and feel like they know you, and so it almost happens to everyone that becomes famous in some way, and that can happen within an industry too. Like you can get a certain amount of fame within your LuLaRoe empire or your, you know what I mean? Like, or in real estate. And so when we had the most success, that was probably the biggest mess of my life personally.
Yeah.
And a big part of that was feeling like a fraud, feeling like a failure, like feeling like people didn't know the real me, that I was somebody else. And anyway, it made me think I had a transition.
Do you think that all comes from not feeling like you're not actually capable of the success you had?
No, it was 100% that I had been pretending to be somebody I wasn't, to make other people happy. And so then when I knew I wasn't being my authentic self, when I had success, it felt like a fraud.
So you think imposter syndrome stems from people not being their authentic selves?
No, I'm saying it can be many different things. And for them, like, I'm not famous, right?
Yeah.
So if I was famous, I would chalk it up to that. It's weird to be famous. It's weird to have paparazzi follow you. It's weird that, people care about you and want to be in your business, right? That's one thing. What I'm talking about is something different. And so I modified my behavior to the point where I am such an open book. I don't have secrets. Like, I don't really have secrets. Like, especially the people that are my friends and I know I can trust. Like, they know everything there is to know about me. And what's freeing about that is I don't think about anything. I'm not worried about anything. And that wasn't true, every part of my life. And it was in part because I didn't want to hurt people's feelings, or like my belief systems may not match yours. But eventually it just came to not really caring.
Yeah, you can't really
or realizing that caring hurt
takes
me.
up so much space in your head. Yeah.
Versus just trying to figure out who I was, live that life authentically, and be happy.
Yeah.
And
I can definitely understand that. And I've talked to a lot of admin at my retreats that come, and they're dealing with the same kind of imposter syndrome, feeling like they're not good enough. And part of that too, I think, is realizing that you're never going to feel ready for that next step. You're just never going to. You're never going to feel ready for a big business. You're never going to feel ready for a big life. So just embrace that. Embrace that. It doesn't mean that you don't deserve it, or you're not supposed to be there, or that you're an imposter. It just means that you haven't experienced it yet. So kind of embrace that. So I've thought about that with you too. And when we had that success and you didn't really know how to handle it, it was just because it was unknown territory. It's not because you didn't deserve it. You totally deserved every hour that you put in at 1:00 in the morning for years before we got there. Like,
I was just trying to feed my family. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't trying.
It wasn't intentional.
It wasn't
necessarily.
intentional.
Yeah.
And that's the best form of growth, is the unintentional growth, I feel like.
That's the way it should be.
Well, that means the systems are working, and the processes are working, and everything's working.
Yeah. Yeah.
And anyway, this talk with this friend, I was like, oh, you're not totally authentic yet. Like, you're close.
Yeah.
You're almost there.
Yeah.
But you're not.
Yeah.
And it made me sad, and I realized, like...
Because explain again, what did they say that made you think that?
It's just a conversation.
Okay,
It doesn't
just a
matter what
conversation.
was said necessarily. It was just like, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I didn't know everything about you that I thought I did.
Yeah.
And
there's times
it's
like
just
that.
not necessary with me.
Yeah.
Like with me in particular, it's just not necessary. If I have judgment, I have a judgment for being inauthentic, right? Or withholding something versus just trusting me with it. Because I think I've shown and proven that people can trust me with that. And I'm not trying to be harsh or critical. It just magnified to me the importance of authenticity and
well, and like I'm sure it happens for you. Like you then value the people that you know are truly authentic and have that self-awareness. You value that at an immense level. Like I want those people around me the most, and it doesn't mean that I want to exclude everybody who's not quite there yet. But at the same time, like it's so valuable when someone's truly authentic and really themselves and is willing to acknowledge things that they've done wrong, take ownership. Like that kind of level of self-awareness is so rare that when you find it, you just kind of want to like hold on to it.
Yeah, for real. I think about my grandfather and his generation a lot all the time because man, he was an authentic dude, man. He didn't have...
No, it sounds like from what you've told me about him, very much so. And I love how he commended you for getting into real estate and just that mindset that he had in that generation. Yeah. No wonder he was successful in his town.
So I've been thinking about, your mom's program, Be You, your talk, like with Hergenrother, which was Be You, Be Authentic.
People want it. People want it.
And I'm thinking about my upcoming talk at the Pacific Northwest Admin Retreat. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be on authenticity. Okay. And I'll find some nuance to it. But it gives me so much peace.
I know.
I was
that's what I want for everybody to feel that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I felt like at one time, I think it made me a little bit crazy, like trying to keep track of everything.
Oh, well, you're trying to coordinate everything in your brain.
Yeah, and then I was so good at rationalizing that I didn't know what was real and what wasn't real, and anyway, I think that's been my journey over the past.
You just freed up a bunch of real estate in your head.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Oh, it's so much quieter.
Which for you is a big deal because your head was filled with things when I first met you. Like those first couple of years, you would get overwhelmed by just the voices in your head, meaning like just yourself having conversations about everything, different relationships, how to maintain, and now to have that freed up, it's got to be a whole different world in there.
In there.
This world over here.
And that there.
Not there, noggin. Yeah. What proof is this?
I mean, it's 80 proof. 40% alcohol.
Wow. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Is there an emotional question you'd like me to ask you at this time?
Oh, is there one that you'd like me to ask me?
When did you get in a Tesla?
Good one. Saturday. Also, yeah, so we can talk more about that. You can ask me questions. Also, though, so essentially I was at University Village, and so, or actually it was Sunday. So Sunday I got to ride in a Tesla. Saturday, I realize now one of the things I need to do for my self-care is I need to get myself a new mattress for my bed. I need a new mattress because I've had that mattress for probably almost 10 years, and it's affecting my sleep. And so there's a pop-up store for the purple mattresses. Yeah. And I went there and I totally made friends with the lady, and I laid on every bed. They have 4 options. They're amazing.
Really?
The beds are created with a material that's like a webbing, like it must be Elon Musk approved.
Gel.
Yeah, and the webbing, I guess, is specific to burn patients. So they developed them for the hospitals.
Yeah, they took it from IntelliBed is the one that created this.
Okay.
And then purple is like the consumer edition of that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So they make these for hospital beds.
Yeah.
Primarily.
So I was really impressed with that because, first of all, burn victims, you have to be, for them to be able to lay down on anything.
That's quite the endorsement. Like,
right?
Burn victims say our bed is the best. Sleep on purple.
Well, it's hard for me to buy into all these different beds my parents just bought a Casper. Like it comes in a box and you like let it out and it, and so far they're liking it. But purple, there's a 100-day guarantee. So you can have it for 100 days, sleep on it for 100 days or whatever. And then a 10-year warranty. And they're supposed to last a lifetime. And so I am like thinking about it for Black Friday. Like I find a way to do this. But yeah, those my experiences this weekend was I drove in a Tesla, thoroughly impressed. I laid down on a purple mattress, totally impressed. I guess apparently She said some lady fell asleep on the mattress for like 3 hours and 47 minutes in their store this week. They sell 3 to 4 a day. I'm full of information. And then on the weekends, like the Apple Cup apparently is this weekend with Black Friday. She's like, I'm not looking forward to it. Like, we're going to be sold out in minutes.
Huh.
Yeah.
So why were you in a Tesla?
I was in the Tesla doing a test drive with a friend of mine that wanted to test drive a Tesla because he also has a down payment on one.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting one in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, so he's getting like the Model 3 or the...
Mm-hmm. And it was my first time accelerating in one, which is why when you mentioned it, I was like, I have to say this because it was like a snap of the fingers.
Right.
And we were going 60. And this is not how my Honda Fit works. My Honda Fit's like,
Do you know if it was in ludicrous mode or not?
What's that?
Or plaid mode? There's
No.
2 different modes.
No, those were not the modes. It was sport mode, I think. Or it might have been, it's called something else.
So there's an add-on.
Okay.
Where it does that faster.
Shut up.
It's called ridiculous mode. Or ludicrous mode or whatever it's called. Ludicrous. I don't know. I forget.
Well, and just the interior, like the computer that's up on the front, and it's very slick. And the whole top of the roof being basically see-through.
Well,
kind of
even
sold.
on the Cybertruck, they're like, where are the mirrors? I'm like, where do you think? They're cameras. We're not going to have mirrors in the future. Mm-hmm. Why? Because we're not living in the Iron Age.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have cameras now everywhere.
Yeah. It was pretty slick.
Do you think we're going to see a lot of Cybertrucks on the road? Tesla trucks?
In
I think
Seattle?
in Seattle
Yes.
we'll see a ton.
Yes. Everywhere else might be longer, but in Seattle. And the lady was saying that apparently they all ship to the East Coast much faster because the factory is closer to us. We actually are towards the end of the list. Seattle is in terms of getting the Tesla vehicles that come out from the factory.
I don't think this is
Which
real,
doesn't make any
what you're
sense to
saying.
me.
No.
It was what she said, though. She said they ship them out to the East Coast to get them to people who have ordered them, as quick as they can, which means that we're down towards the end. But she said the deliveries have been happening
ridiculous.
sooner rather than later.
That
She's
doesn't
been
make any
impressed.
sense.
Who knows? It's a sales lady. She was good, though. I liked her.
Salespeople say stuff that's wrong all the time.
I know, but we don't as salespeople. No.
We try not to.
No.
For sure.
We have to speak the truth.
I mean, if I were to sell this whiskey, I'd be like,
How would you describe it?
I'd say it's highly drinkable for that
For that
woman,
ASMR episode?
female professional between 35 and 40 years old.
I'd agree with that.
Highly drinkable. This is a whiskey I would buy my admin. Actually,
To take
that was
with
one
her?
of my show ideas. Is we should talk about gift giving for
Oh.
our people on team.
Well, that's
and stuff.
probably appropriate right now because that gives
Not
them a month.
now,
Well,
that's
gives them, they need a month to do it, though. They need a month to, and like right now they're thinking of ideas and they're asking me
Oh, it's
already.
Black Friday too.
And I've had two agents. Two agents bought the retreat as a gift for Christmas.
That's a nice gift.
Mm-hmm.
Props.
Mm-hmm. I told them each, I was like, I'm very impressed with you. Yeah. I don't know if that stood with them or if they appreciated that, but it's
I
true.
mean, really, you think you should do it now and not be a
Yes.
separate episode?
No, I think it can be a part of this.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we could be a separate episode. What time is it? We're probably about done.
Yeah, it feels like another episode.
Another episode? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll embrace that. Mm-hmm.
Any other nuggets we can drop?
Well,
on
what are
our
you doing for Thanksgiving?
unassuming audience? We're doing our Thanksgiving today, and
With the kids and everything?
All the kids and everything.
What are you making?
Turkey.
Yeah.
Jill's making turkey and stuffing and rolls and other accoutrements. And no, I'm looking forward to it. It's a nice day here in the Pacific Northwest. It's not raining. Jill's been decorating the house for Christmas. Christmas music will be on, I'm sure. Yeah, it'll be good. I do like this time. I do like. I went and got coffee. What?
I feel like you need to tell your story about the lights in the house. I just remembered that.
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you that in a second.
Okay.
I went and got coffee the other day at Gourmet Latte, the stand by our office, the best stand by our office. And she told me they're open 365 days a year. Like she's working Thanksgiving, and people like want to work these shifts because people are super generous on their tips, right? For Thanksgiving and Christmas, they're like, "Oh, sweetie, poor girl, like you have to work on Thanksgiving. Here's a big tip.
Here's $100.
And then she said, but here's the thing: is like I don't think 50 years from now I'm gonna remember making an extra $300.
No.
I'd rather be home with my family.
Yeah.
And
Good point.
I love that perspective because we do need time. I still have a problem with agents that are like, pound the phones day before or day of. Like,
Well,
man,
it's a short game mentality.
Where's your balance?
Yeah, it's a short game.
Where's your balance where you're like, do you live to work or do you work to live?
Mm-hmm.
And so I like these times as well, and I try to embrace them and just be like, this is my time to be with my family.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be productive, and I'm still going to be productive. But you know what? There's a team north of us that is standards are high when it comes to phone calls and lead generating. And they have a lot of turnover and transition, and for that reason. And it's so funny because they often come talk to us afterward. And we're the opposite of that, where we need to be probably fiercer about calling and lead genning. And we're more relational and cultural. But anyway, random Thanksgiving. Okay, so Christmas lights. I haven't drank enough to tell this story.
Well, I'll tell the people that are listening that it came up on Monday because you stayed at home, and one of those reasons
I didn't want to stay at home.
To handle the lights.
God.
And the thing happened where it just coincided with what my brother Matt had told me, which was he had looked into hiring someone. It was going to cost $800. They would bring their own lights, put them up, come back, take them down, store them. And he was like, I just can't quite agree to the $800. He was like, $200? Sure, I'd do that, but $800?
Yeah, you want me to predict the future? In 3 years, he's going to write a check for $800.
Well, what happens after with you is, I mean.
All right, so I bought a house 2.5 years ago for my new blended family, and we were excited about it. And Christmas in this neighborhood is ridiculous. Everyone puts lights on their house, like way too many lights. And I'm a ranch kid that I'm not afraid of labor, but I'm also a big guy, and being on a ladder in the cold is not.
I don't want to do it.
I have no balance whatsoever.
Oh, I'd be
I'm
afraid.
not flexible at all. Like, it's ridiculous.
You can't do that until you write your will.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to hang lights. For lots of reasons. I don't own a lawnmower because I don't want to mow the lawn. Okay? So I'm not hanging my own lights.
Amen.
And so the first year I paid a friend way too much money to do it. I just didn't know how much it was going to cost. And when he gave me the bill, I was like, you have to be kidding me, because it was more than $800 that your brother got quoted. So then the next year I'm like, well, I can't do that. That was way too much money.
Yeah.
I didn't want to spend that in the first place. I thought I was getting the family discount. I did not at all. So then Jill said, I'll do it. Jill's 5'2", 120 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, she can run up and down the ladder. And I'm like, babe, I don't want you to have to do that. Like, I'll pay someone. She's like, no, let me try. Well, she tried, and she did a good job, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
You buy these lights, and then the next year, half of them don't work.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
So you have to test them all, and it's frustrating. And you get them on, and you put it on the ground, they work. You put them on the house, they don't work.
It's the most frustrating thing ever.
So it was frustrating for everyone. So this year, I'm like, okay, I'm going to pay someone to do this because it's frustrating for Jill last time. So I'm going to be magnanimous and like take care of it, right? And I'm going to take care of it. She's not going to have to do anything because she really likes this. She wants lights on the house. I want her to be happy. I'm going to do this. So I find someone who's doing it for like $300. And I'm like, sweet. I found somebody. I got him. He's going to meet me at the house. Jill couldn't be there. I didn't know she couldn't be there. So now I have to work from home to meet this guy. He shows up. The window of time is from 10 to 11:30. He shows up at 11:29. Like,
oh, I didn't know that.
at the end of the window, right? Then I test lights before he gets there. All of them don't work except for 3 strands.
God.
So I have to go out and buy more lights. I buy the wrong kind of lights, like the wrong color. Like, I'm so confused. You're laughing because you know me. And this is how my life goes. And this is why I have to have 2 assistants, because I make such a mess in my own life. It makes it makes everything harder, right? So then now I'm mad because I'm home and I shouldn't be. I want to be at the office. I want to be working. And now I'm thinking about how much money this is costing me in productivity that I'm home dealing with this guy. It's way more than $300.
Yeah.
And Jill's home. She gets home later, and it's her day off. And she's not used to having me around the house on a work day. And I'm frustrated at the lights and this guy and this dude and everything that's happening. And then he like does a terrible job. Like terrible. It looks terrible. And so I just pay him his money and I let him go. And I'm like so mad at everyone. I'm just mad. Because now it's like 3 p.m. I've wasted a day of productivity. It didn't go like I wanted it to, even though I paid him money. Jill had to go out and fix the lights. Like, she couldn't stand how they looked and had to go out and fix them.
Jeez.
And it was the worst day for me. I just could not win for losing that day. And these lights, man, it's a racket.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to start another side business.
You know what? I'm gonna take up this climate change thing because I'm gonna ban Christmas lights. You know how much waste is created? I threw out so many lights that don't work.
Yeah.
So someone needs to either invent a better Christmas light or we need to throw this in the realm of petroleum, fossil fuels, and get rid of them altogether.
Yeah. I kind of agree.
I might put lit candles on my house next year over Christmas lights. We're going back to like Paul Revere days.
And do you guys have a fake tree or a real one?
What do you think?
Fake.
Right. Well, the main reason is Jill's allergic to trees.
Yeah.
Like, she's so allergic to she's allergic to the dogs and cats.
Yeah.
But mostly horses, hay, and grass. And trees.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I feel her pain.
Right. Like, we're not going to a lot of national forests or a petting zoo.
Yeah.
Anytime soon.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Now I'm all worked up. I'm going to pound this whiskey now.
I think I'm going to get 2 Christmas trees this year.
Okay. Do you have a fake Christmas tree?
No.
Are you going to get a full-size tree?
Mm-hmm.
And a little, like a Charlie Brown tree?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to put the second tree?
I'm not sure. I kind of want it in my room. I don't know how good that is of an idea, but either that or probably the dining room.
And where is the big one going to be at?
Oh, the center of the living room, right by the windows.
Is your fireplace working now?
No. It went out again this year. I think the pilot light has been on green smart, it's called, and so it goes out when you're not using it. And I think in the winter, I just need to keep it continuous because of the wind and when it gets cold. So no, they're booked until they're coming out December 3rd. I'm pissed. So I called them yesterday and said, hey, if anybody has an opening, could you come out earlier? Or what can I do to get you out here earlier? Because I want it this weekend. Yeah. It's my favorite thing.
I have to say I had a hand in that fireplace.
Yeah, you did.
I recommended it.
You recommended that I go above and beyond, and I did.
Well, I mean on the fireplace. I said you should put a fireplace in.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you should do this one. I gave you the model number
Yeah,
and everything.
you did.
It's remote controlled.
Yeah. I love that fireplace. I love the brick. I love the fire. I love everything about it. That with all the lights off, looking out at the mountains, done. Which is what I want to do this weekend, which is why I want it to work. But even if it doesn't, I'm still super happy there. I'm ready for the snow. I'm ready for a snow day.
Is it going to snow?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's supposed to.
It's been cold.
It's been really cold. Oh, that's a good spot.
Thank goodness we have whiskey to warm us up.
To warm us up? Yeah. This is going to keep me warm all day. For shizzle. There you go.
Oh, man.
Thanks for catching up.
All right. Well, Margaret, I feel like you've said enough. You've said it all.
Said it all?
You've drank it all.
All right.
I appreciate you. I'm thankful this season for my podcasting partner. Thanks for keeping the world full of context.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thanks for being 100% human.
There you go. 100% human.
Thanks for making up words that don't exist.
You're welcome.
Prior to you.
I'm happy to.
And someday we'll release the lexicon of Margaret.
Oh, God, that'll be amazing. That'll be a good day.
2021 Margaret's Own Dictionary. Buy it now.
Shark fins and tendrils.
Oh, it's already sold out. I just announced it. It's sold out. We don't have a book. We have nothing, but we've sold out. Because that's how we do.
That's how we do.
All right. See you next week, everybody.